Hey everybody, this is David McDarby, and I'm back again with another Versus video. But this time we're doing something a little different. Have you ever wanted to throw away your 60 card or 40 card decks and really play with, around 100 cards? Do you want to cast lots of big, expensive spells and ramp into them and draw cards and hopefully kill 1 to 3 of your friends? Well, have I got a format for you, and it's called Commander. So if you take a look here, we can take a look at my deck. This is my normal deck that I go to. Commander decks, normally I like building with a theme. But this one is my good stuff deck, as they call it. Blue, red, green Maelstrom Wanderer. He was from the Commander 2012 release from a year ago, so he's been out for a while, but he's still very fun. So basically, this is just a blue-green ramp deck where you ramp with lots of cards, and then you draw lots of cards, and then you cast lots of big guys, and you have fun while doing it. So when I build constructed decks for competitive tournaments, I like to win first and have fun second. In Commander, you flip-flop. You want to have fun, but winning is like a side quest that you want to do, but you don't want to be that guy and combo off with like Kiki Jiki and Pestermite or Deceiver Exarch. But you like having fun. It's a social activity. Commander's a format made on a social contract, which is kind of awkward sometimes when you meet up with people that don't quite adhere to the same rules as you, but that's what a game's for, and you want to have fun. So I like to try and have fun while I'm playing my magical cards. So you'll see here's all the cards. Lands are nothing special. I'll just start with them. Got a bunch of basics from all my rampant growths. A bunch of dual lands and a bunch of neat lands that might do things. Ranger Ravine can attack. Temple of the False God ramps you. Castle Warfront fireballs them. And Vesuva clones them. And Mosswood Bridge hopefully hits something neat and not just 4 lands. And like I said, we are a ramp deck. So here's all the ramp spells. It's a bunch of green ramp spells you're used to. Trinket Mage can get Soul Ring. Speaking of Soul Ring, there are only 2 artifact cards in this deck that make mana, pretty much. Commander's a deck with lots of Wrath of Gods. Like, you don't want Naturalize, you don't want Doomblade, you want, Planar Cleansing, you want Wrath of God. So things that might get destroyed by, be collateral damage by some evil spell your opponents want to stop you from blossoming, that might happen. So that's why I only run 2, because Soul Ring is Soul Ring, and it gives you more mana than you spend into it. And Thran Dynamo can curve into my general very nicely. So that's why I run those guys. The other neat ramp spells are Unexpected Results. This spell might just comprise what EDH, or form the Commander of the Artist, formerly known as EDH, is all about, and the fact that it ramps you and it can get big, fat spells, but you don't actually know what you're getting, and it's random. Embrace the chaos, as readers at Sheldon Minery will be aware of. The other spell is Boundless Realms. This spell was from M13, and it never really saw any play because it is 7 mana, but if you cast it, you get all the basics pretty much from your deck, and then you have next turn to go crazy. And since my general gets me 2 free spells whenever I cast him, I always have things to do with my mana. Unless he gets pacified. That's not very good. So with the card draw, you need ways to refill your hand. That's what these spells are used for. You have your usual suspects. The only neat card is Recurring Insight, a card from Rise of Eldrazi, which lets you draw cards, equal number of cards in your opponent's hands, and it rebounds. Rebounds the mechanic that you don't see anything on, but it lets you twin cast your spells, but at a later date. Praetor's Council is a very common Commander card. It lets you refill your hand with all the cards in your graveyard. And yeah, it's one of those green big spells that if it resolves, the game's probably going to end in the next 2 turns or so. So you have the card draw. Here, I'm a fan of the second of Star Wars Episode 2. I'm really not. I just like clones. So you'll see all these clone guys here. A bunch of blue clones, Progenitor Mimic, Dragon's Maze All-Star, and Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker. You might be saying, yeah, I'm a blue-green deck, but I've got 4 red cards. One of them is triple red. But it's fine. We have dual lands. It doesn't really matter. And Rite of Replication is the other Commander All-Star card in that if it resolves with a kicker, the game's, unless there's a Wrath, follow it closely, the game's probably going to be over. And then so if we ramp and refill our hand, what do you do with this mana? Well, we cast Fatty McFattersons up here. The special mana cost for this deck is 7 because my general costs 8. And when you cast 8, you cast something that costs less. So hopefully you hit 2 7-drops. You'll see here the 2 Primordials. I didn't want Molten Primordial, the red one, because I'm not too focused on hasting people out, but just having lots of big guys. Sylvan Primordial, Primeval Titan Successor, I like to call him. He's 1 more mana, sure, but you can get maybe 1 more land, and you blow up your opponent's Oblivion Rings and their mana rocks. And if you really need to, land destruction. I'm not a big fan of land destruction in Commander. Yes, you need some pinpoint land destruction because your opponents might play Maze of Ith or Cabal Coffers or some other things, but you want some of it. But just don't be ruinating. Or if you're mono red, I guess you can play Blood Moon because you're mono red. But just watch out for that. Avengers Zendikar has kind of become the commander, the kill guy. Like, everyone plays him. He's a big guy. He ends the game quickly. Yeah, so Chancellor of the Spires is a card from New Phyrexia, which is like a Diluvian Primordial, but only one opponent, but it doesn't exile the card. So if they have a rival application in their graveyard, you get a lot of Chancellors. The other big guy is Sphinx Ambassador, or as I like to call him, Bob Barker. Because you hit him, you get a creature. If they guess right, you don't get it, but they never guess right. You always go for the second best creature. Unless they think you're on that level, then you go for the first best. Unless they think, well, who knows? The other two kind of big guys are Riku and Intet. I have them in here because they were the deck's previous generals, and I liked for them their legacy to live on in Maelstrom Wonder's new busted age of commander craziness. Being as this is a big mana deck, you need some ways to wipe the board. I don't have many, but I have 2 artifacts, Neverill's Disc and Oblivion Stone. Sometimes you got hit reset. Other times your run goes fine, and you don't need to reset at all, and you get a new personal best. I am playing a blue deck, so you have the evil counter spells, but counter spells aren't that good in Commander because they only hurt one opponent, and generally Commander is a multiplayer format where you're playing with 3 other friends or 3 other acquaintances or people that you don't even know. But here on the Versus series, we're only going to be playing 1v1 generally because there's a lot of dead time and a lot of just paperwork and stuff that has to go with 4 players, so we're going to stick with 2. But these counter spells do things other than just counter spells. Cryptic Commander generally bounces a guy or taps a thing, but Spelljack is very interesting in that Spelljack counters a spell, and then you exile, and you can cast whenever you want. So say I cast my General, and I cascade into Spelljack. I then can counterspell my General, it goes away, I get the second Cascade, and then I cast him again for free. So it's like I get 3 Cascades when I hit a Spelljack. So that's always fun. And then I have Birthing Pod. Birthing Pod is one of my favorite cards of all time. I'm not too big fan of tutoring, but it kind of lets you tutor. It lets you just do fun things, and it's a neat card. And so that's most of the deck. Up here, you'll see some other blue-green cards. They're just the usual suspects. Some Graveyard Recursion, some Removal, Spell Twine, Tooth and Nail. Tooth and Nail, the other tutor card, but I don't Tooth and Nail for Kiki Jiki Pestermine. That's kind of lame. Like, I don't play Commander to just make my opponents not able to have a fun time as well and just end the game immediately. Yes, games need to end at some point, but I can do that through my big burly, manly men. And yeah. So today, we'll be playing against Jesse Snyder with Thraxamundar. The evil zombie menace will try to be short. So we'll see how that goes, and hope you have enjoyed watching it.